We're cutting across to big breaking news that's coming in this morning. Sources say that the army has captured an infiltrator in Uri sector. A Pakistani terrorist has been captured in Uri. According to sources by our army, the terrorist was part of a recent infiltration. This operation was on since 18th or 19th September. But what we're picking up right now from sources is that a Pakistani terrorist has been captured alive by our forces in Uri. He reportedly entered into Indian territory a few days ago, and the army, after an operation, has managed to capture him alive. We're going to be going across to our reporters to get you more information on exactly what's come out right now. What is the information that's been put out at hand? We're also awaiting an official statement from the Indian Army on this. But we understand that the operation to nab this terrorist was on for the last 10 days or so. A Pakistani terrorist being captured alive. And this will prove to be a huge win for our forces because of the kind of information that this terrorist can give on the infiltrations being conducted right now at the border and exactly what their modus operandi is. The information that we're picking up right now is that the Indian Army was a part of this operation since about 18 to 19 September. Since then, they've been trying to capture this particular terrorist, and finally, he's been captured in Uri sector. As I mentioned, this is information that we're picking up from our sources. We're awaiting an official statement from the army on this. Abhishek Bhalla, our defense editor, is joining us with more details on this. Abhishek, sources right now confirming to us that an infiltrator, a Pakistani terrorist, has been captured alive by our army. This is huge. Abhishek, if you can hear me, give us more details really of what we're picking up right now from our sources. Apologies, we'll reconnect with Abhishek in just a bit. Some more information that's just coming in right now. Sources say at 3 different locations, the army was able to establish contact with infiltrators in the last 2 days. One infiltrator is believed to be dead in the encounter. The army is looking right now for the other terrorists, and one of them has been captured alive. The army was in fact engaged in this encounter after it was found that many Pakistani terrorists had entered into our territory in the last few days. In fact, for the last 10 days, our army has been focused on identifying these infiltrators. Kamaljit Sandhu is joining us with more details on this. Kamaljit, this is huge news coming in. What are your sources telling you right now about this information that the army has captured a Pakistani terrorist alive?
Ashita, you will recall that there was a big operation which took place in Uri where the internet was also flat and a big search operation was carried on, after which 3 infiltrators were gunned down. There was a press conference which was done. But now, in a big shot in the arm for security forces, especially the Indian Army, the LOC, they've managed to capture a Pakistani infiltrated alive. We've been told that at least 4 soldiers have sustained bullet injuries after exchange of fire between the army and the terrorists in Uri across the line of control. Sources say that at least 3 different locations, the army was able to establish contact with infiltrators in the last 2 days. And now we believe that 1 infiltrator is dead in the encounter site and 1 has been captured. There is a manhunt on for, we've been told by sources that as part of the entire infiltrating team, there could have been at least 7 who managed to push in. 3 have been killed, now 1 has been captured. Search operations continue to be on. We also been told that army is likely to do a press conference, which is slated to be post 12 o'clock, perhaps at 1 o'clock. And the GOC of the 19th Infantry Division is expected to brief media regarding this.
You know, this information is coming on the 5th anniversary of the surgical strike. So really fitting there that you're seeing this kind of a successful operation again by our forces. Kamaljit, at this point, any details about the identity of this terrorist who's been caught alive, which terror group he belongs to?
At this point of time, what we know is that he was part of a big infiltration group which was coming in. This is in specifics very important because remember, when we're talking about FATF, when we're talking about no ceasefire violation which is being done by the Pakistani army, here is proof before the world that Pakistan continues to push in infiltrators, terrorists, There's been apprehension that with the Afghanistan situation on the boil, things could simmer at the LOC as well. And that is why there has been a heightened sense of alert. But all this came to a crux on the 18th of September, when there was information coming in that at least a group of 7 terrorists could have infiltrated. And that is when a massive manhunt was launched. Uri was almost blocked by the Indian Army. There was massive a manhunt which was carried on. Air choppers were used. So there was a big manhunt to search for these terrorists. And remember, if even one of them could have managed to come into the hinterland or carried on operations inside Jammu and Kashmir, that could have played havoc. But here, it seems that hard work, intelligence, all this has worked. This has paid rich dividends, because capturing a terrorist alive, that is a big shot in the arm. This will also be able to prove through his interrogation what the plan of Pakistani operators, including the ISI agents, have been. Sources have long indicated to us that at least 250 terrorists are there at the launch pad. And the information coming in was that they've been sending in weapons through drones. But here's a push, not just of having local recruits, but also pushing infiltrators from across the border.
Let me also bring in Abhishek Bhalla, defense editor. Abhishek, we've been seeing a lot of activity at the Uri sector. Last 5 days, 4 terrorists have been killed. There have been multiple infiltration attempts as well along the border.
Yes, Akshita. In fact, the operation started on 18th September when there was information that a big group of terrorists is trying to infiltrate. On the 23rd of September, the army tasted some success when they were, on the lookout for terrorists who were trying to infiltrate from another location. 3 terrorists were neutralized, while 2 others fled back at that point of time, and a big seizure of arms ammunition was made on the 23rd of September. Since then, search and cordon operations have been on in various locations in Uri. And yesterday, this operation took place, in which 1 more terrorist was killed and 1 has been taken in alive, which is a big success, because, if somebody is apprehended alive, obviously he comes with a lot of information. Sources are saying that, he was cornered and finally he surrendered. There will be details given on the operation in a little while from now. But I also happened to speak to the Corps Commander of 15 Corps, which is based in Srinagar, and he said that infiltration attempts are taking place with the connivance of Pakistan military commanders. So that's a big statement that a top general has made to India today. And he also said that because there is, by and large, peace in Kashmir, stone pelting has gone down, the local recruitment of terror groups is also quite low. This is what is bothering Pak proxies. So these were, very strong words of an army general who's overlooking operations, not just at the line of control, but also in the hinterland.
And this information that you're also giving us, Abhishek, is why it's so significant, the fact that a terrorist, a Pakistani terrorist, has been captured alive. Because the modus operandi of these terrorists, their infiltration methods, how they have backing from the Pakistan army, all of that can now be established with this terrorist being captured alive.
That's right, Akshita. And also what needs to be closely looked at is the fact that there has been a ceasefire agreement between the armies of India and Pakistan since February 24. So while there has been no real exchange of fire or gun battles or skirmishes like there used to be earlier at the line of control, things have been quiet as far as the armies are concerned. But that doesn't mean infiltration attempts have stopped. And the Corps Commander also said to me that while terror launch pads have been full for the last 4-5 months, but there has been a heightened activity in the last 1 month, especially in various sectors of the line of control. And the last 10 days have been really hectic for the Indian Army as operations continue. And remember, the 18th of September happens to be the anniversary of the deadly Uri attack, in which 17 Indian Army soldiers were killed back in 2016. So the infiltration attempt of 18th September coincided with the anniversary of the Uri attack. And obviously today is the anniversary of the surgical strike that India carried out about 10 days later, again back in 2016. So very significant that big success for the Indian Army once again on the anniversary of the surgical strike that India carried out in 2016.
That's right. Very, very significant and very fitting that on the 5th anniversary of the surgical strikes that our forces conducted, you're seeing another big win in the valley as they managed to capture Pakistani terrorists alive post 12 p.m. We're expecting an official statement from our forces, from the army, on exactly what happened in this operation. And also, Kamaljeet, if you could also bring us more details on that reportedly 7 terrorists from Pakistan managed to infiltrate into India. For the last 10 days, reportedly, the army has been hunting for these terrorists.
This is one of the possibly the largest manhunt being carried out in the year 2021. And specifically when Pakistan has been talking all night, they have been talking of themselves as a victim, especially on international platforms. Here's a plan of the ISI to push in terrorists. There's been apprehension that they may want to try and push in even the Afghanistani Taliban operatives at the LOC. But that may be a distant reality at this point of time. But Pakistan does seem to have a plan, because we've been told all across by the intelligence agencies that there have been at least 250 terror operatives present at the launch pads. And so the reason they've been present is because there is an opportune time when they want to push in, especially once the snow falls into the passes, things could become difficult. The weather will be inclement, there could be snowfall, and that is why that push is coming in right now. In specifics, we also know that Uri is an area in North Kashmir where infiltration does take place. And because of a heightened sense of alert, the army was aware a possible infiltration bid has taken place. And that is why a massive manhunt was launched in different areas. As a matter of fact, for almost 3 days, the entire area was in a lockdown where operation was carried out from house to house, going in for searches. Helicopters were pressed into service. So this is come at an opportune time, because remember, if any of these terror operatives could have managed to cross over, that could itself may have spelled trouble, especially in the hinterland. The other part is obviously to send in Pakistani terrorists. These are because there are local recruits, but they need leadership as far as the Pakistani is concerned. They control the narrative. They plan terror operations. So in that sense, the interrogation of this terrorist is going to be extremely important as to what the new plan is.
Yes.
And that is how things will unfold, especially in the press conference. We do expect not only the visuals, perhaps even the person is brought in, but clearly a shot in the arm for the Indian Army at this point of time.
And Pakistan, the Pakistan Army, the ISI will be very, very worried looking at this news of a terrorist being captured alive. The modus operandi, how they've connived, how these terrorists connive with the Pakistan Army, all of that will be information that our forces will be able to retrieve now from this one captured terrorist. In the last 5 days, 4 terrorists have been killed in Uri sector, and our army has been trying to ensure that all the infiltrators are identified. There have been encounters back-to-back days, literally in parts of Kashmir, particularly in Uri sector, in the last 10 days or so. Kamaljeet and Abhishek, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Post 12 o'clock, we're expecting an official statement from the army. This is a story we'll be tracking very closely here on India Today.